Good news, something just dropped that nobody's talking about yet, and it's going to affect over 71 million people starting in January. But what you'll see at the end will absolutely shock you. So make sure you watch until the very end because this changes everything we thought we knew about retirement timing. The Social Security Administration just announced the 2026 cost of living adjustment. And here's what actually matters. On average, your monthly check is going up by about $56. That's a 2.8% and 8% increase starting January 2026. Now, before you think that's good news, let me show you what they're not telling you on the news. The increase for 2026 is 2.8%, which translates to approximately $56 more per month for the average beneficiary. But here's where it gets interesting. The Medicare Part B premium is forecast to jump to more than $26 in 2026, up from $185 this year. So if you do the math, you're actually getting maybe $20 or $30 more after Medicare takes their cut. Maybe less, depending on your situation. Comment your age and state below. I want to know who's dealing with this and who's actually prepared for what's coming because most people have no idea what's about to hit them. Now, here's what nobody's explaining to you. Social Security benefits lost 20% of their buying power between 2010 and 2024. Think about that for a second. If you retired back in 2010, you would need an extra $370 a month just to have the same purchasing power you had back then. That's $4,443 a year that just vanished into thin air. And the COLA increases haven't been keeping up with actual costs that retirees face, especially healthcare, which is climbing faster than anything else. So while everyone's celebrating this 2.8% increase like it's some kind of victory, the reality is way different. Over the last decade, the COLA has averaged about 3.1%, and this year we're below that average. Now, I'm not here to depress you, but you need to understand what you're actually working with because the decisions you make in the next few years are going to determine whether you're comfortable in retirement or struggling every single month. And here's something most people don't realize. The timing of when you claim Social Security might be the single biggest financial decision you'll ever make. Bigger than buying a house, bigger than any investment, and most people get it completely wrong. Let me show you something that'll make you rethink everything. Most people claim Social Security at 62 because they think they've earned it and they want it now. But here's what that actually costs you. If you claim at 62 instead of waiting until your full retirement age of 67, you'll receive a permanently reduced benefit of about 30% less. That reduction never goes away. It's permanent for the rest of your life. So if your full benefit at 67 would be $2,000 a month, at 62, you're only getting about $1,400. That's a $600 per month difference that you'll never recover. And here's the part that really matters. If you wait until age 70 instead of claiming at full retirement age, your benefit increases by 8% for each year you delay. So at 70, you'd be getting about $2,480 instead of $2,000. That's an extra $240, $480 every single month for life. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if I claim at 62, I get money for 8 extra years before someone who waits until 70 gets anything. That's true, but here's what the math actually shows. The break-even point where waiting pays off typically occurs around age 78 to 80. So if you live past 80, which most people do these days, you actually come out way ahead by waiting. According to Census Bureau data, the average life expectancy for someone who reaches 62 is another 21 years for men and 24 years for women. That means most people are living well past that break-even point. So by claiming early, they're actually losing hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is what nobody tells you. If you're married, this decision becomes even more critical because when one spouse dies, the surviving spouse gets to keep the higher of the two Social Security benefits. So, if the higher earner waits until 70 to maximize their benefit, that creates a larger survivor benefit that protects the surviving spouse for the rest of their life. This is huge because women typically outlive men by several years, and many widows end up in poverty because the household lost the higher social security check. Now, let me show you the scenarios where claiming early actually makes sense, because I'm not here to tell you there's one right answer for everyone. There are specific situations where claiming at 62 is absolutely the right move. First, if you have serious health issues and you don't expect to live past your mid 70s, claiming early makes sense because you want to collect as much as you can while you're here. Second, if you absolutely need the money to survive and you have no other income sources or savings, then you don't really have a choice. You need that money now, and that's okay. Third, if you're married and you're the lower earner, sometimes it makes sense for you to claim early while your higher earning spouse delays until 70. This gives you some income now while maximizing the survivor benefit for later. But here's what most people don't understand about the earnings limit. If you claim before full retirement age and you're still working in 2025, you'll have $1 deducted from your benefit for every $2 you earn above $2,300. So, if you're planning to keep working and claim early, you could actually lose most or all of your Social Security benefit until you reach full retirement age. Once you hit full retirement age, this earnings limit disappears completely, and you can work as much as you want without any penalty. Now, here's the strategy that almost nobody I knows about, but it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you can afford to wait past your full retirement age, those years between 67 and 70 are golden because you're getting that 8% increase every single year with no risk, no market volatility. It's guaranteed. Where else can you get a guaranteed 8% return on your money these days? Nowhere. So, if you have other savings or retirement accounts you can live on, delaying Social Security is like buying the best annuity you could ever find, except it comes with inflation protection through the annual COA increases. And here's something that'll blow your mind. The tax situation changes dramatically based on when you claim Social Security. Income is more tax advantaged than IRA or 401k withdrawals. So if you can use your 60s to do Roth conversions or draw down your traditional retirement accounts while delaying Social Security, you could save massive amounts in taxes over your lifetime because you're filling up those lower tax brackets before Social Security kicks in. Now, here's what's going to shock you, and this is what I promised at the beginning. Less than 10% of people wait until 70 to claim Social Security, even though it's financially optimal for most people. Only about 10% of the approximately 3.4 million people who started retirement benefits in 2022 waited until 70. That means 90% of people are leaving enormous amounts of money on the table. We're talking about potentially $100,000 to $200,000 or more over a lifetime, depending on your benefit amount. The average claiming age is around 65, and nearly a quarter of people still claim at 62 despite the massive permanent reduction. Why? Because most people make this decision based on emotion instead of math. They think I've worked my whole life. I deserve this money now. Or they worry Social Security will run out even though that's not how it actually works. Here's the reality about Social Security's future. Yes, the trust fund is projected to be depleted around 2034, but that doesn't mean benefits disappear. It means without congressional action, the fund would only be able to pay about 83% of scheduled benefits. That's still a significant income stream, and Congress has never let Social Security default. They'll figure something out because it's political suicide not to. But even if benefits were reduced by 17% in the future, someone who waited until 70 would still be getting more money than someone who claimed at 62, even after that reduction. So here's what you need to do right now. First, create your My Social Security account if you haven't already, so you can see your actual benefit estimates at different claiming ages. Second, look at your overall financial picture. How much do you have in retirement savings? Do you have a pension? What are your monthly expenses? Can you afford to delay Social Security? Third, if you're married, have a serious conversation with your spouse about your claiming strategy because this affects both of you for the rest of your lives. And here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their Social Security claiming strategy. They just wing it and hope for the best. But this decision is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It deserves serious thought and planning. If you found this valuable, make sure you subscribe because we're diving deep into retirement strategies that actually matter. No fluff, just real information that can change your financial future. And remember, your claiming decision isn't just about you, it's about protecting your spouse, giving yourself flexibility, and making sure you don't outlive your money. Think carefully, run the numbers, and make the choice that's right for your specific situation. Look, I've seen too many people make this mistake and regret it years later when they realize they can't undo it, when they're watching their friends who waited collecting hundreds more every month, while they're stuck with that reduced benefit forever. The difference between claiming smart and claiming out of fear or impatience could mean the difference between a comfortable retirement and one where you're constantly worried about money, where every unexpected expense creates panic, where you can't help your grandkids or take that trip you've been dreaming about. Don't let that be you. Take control of this decision right now while you still have time. And one more thing before you go. If you're sitting there thinking this doesn't apply to you or that you'll figure it out later, understand that every month you wait to plan is a month you lose in potential strategy. Every conversation you avoid having with your spouse is money left on the table. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up to the reality that this matters more than almost anything else in your retirement plan. So, do yourself a favor. Share this with someone who needs to hear it